Within Discovery Education, so if you have a login and a subscription to Discovery, go ahead and log in. If you're having issues or if you don't know your login, or if you'd like a trial or a temporary login, let us know and Patty can stop by and help you out.
That'd be me.
Otherwise, we are going to go ahead and get started. So thank you again for joining me. My name is Emily Worth. I'm a member of the Discovery Education team. I'm a former middle school social studies and math educator out of Milwaukee Public Schools and have been with the Discovery team about 10 years. And I work primarily supporting educators like you who are already making use of your service. So my one promise for today's session is I'm not going to try and sell you anything, because I hope you already have our services, and if not, we have a number of great free resources that I'll be sharing today as well. As we're talking about one of the hot topics in education, college and career readiness. So this is my information. I'm a real person. I check my email. I would love to connect with you on Twitter, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions following this session. Also up here is another short link for you, dlc.com/college career. And this will take you to our official Hot Topics page. You do need to log into Discovery to access it. But this is where much of the information I'm sharing today will be kind of located for you. One of the biggest pieces with Discovery Education, especially here in the state of Pennsylvania, where we've had, sure. One of the biggest pieces here in Pennsylvania that we're talking about at Petency this year is a focus on student accounts. So using Discovery Education at the student level is something that is included in your current subscription. So again, I'm not going to sell you anything, but there is a good chance, we've seen after yesterday's sessions, that many accounts do not have students uploaded. And in the day and age of single sign-on with Google and Microsoft and Schoology and all the other options you have, Discovery is a free integration for those student accounts. And so I really encourage you, if you have a current subscription but your students do not currently log in individually, this is a great way to really maximize the use of your Discovery Education Experience subscription. And again, no additional cost. There's no cost for us to set up and integrate with your SSO. There's no cost for you to upgrade additional student accounts. So you can learn more at usermanagement.discoveryeducation.com. And again, I'd be happy to help make that connection between our IT people and your IT people so they can talk and make the magic happen. Because again, once we have students logging in, especially when we're thinking about college and career readiness, focus on research and organization and all of these other skills, if students are able to log in and do that on their own, it's a much, much fuller experience for them. Just a quick show of hands, anyone in the room who does not have a subscription at all to Discovery Education? A couple of you, okay, great. So I'll be showing a lot of things within service, but I will be showing you where to access a number of the resources, including the ones on the handout. Many of them are available outside of Discovery Education as well. All right. So college and career readiness, this is Discovery's unofficial description or of what we feel college and career readiness means. And it's really being prepared to succeed in post-secondary opportunities. And I know here in the state of Pennsylvania, you have some very specific standards and benchmarks around college and career readiness. And I am not an expert on that. I'm not based here in Pennsylvania, but after taking a look at them, I see a lot of ways that we can connect and support as you're working to meet those benchmarks at each grade level. And part of that is helping around the knowledge and skills, dispositions needed to succeed. And so today I'm going to walk you through a number of tools and resources within Discovery Education, and some, as I mentioned, outside of Discovery Ed, And I've organized them around these different categories. So cognitive strategies, mastering content, taking ownership of their learning, and then becoming proficient in a range of learning strategies. So a variety of ways to integrate those college and career readiness skills. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first one is developing key cognitive strategies. So again, as we're talking about using Discovery Education as a student account, students are able to log into Discovery Education on their own, do a search, research their own content, and then make use of filters, grade levels, to really help them narrow in on the best content. So in the day and age of them being pushed content 24/7 and having to make those filtering and deciphering of information on their own, this can be a really great space for them to practice a lot of these skills. We know that searching on Google and YouTube and other places, even with all the filters and blockers, can still be a little bit scary as an educator, but you can have your students searching within Discovery at full confidence. So there are a number of ways to filter our content. If you were to do a keyword search, this is an example of what your search results might look like. And across the top, you're able to search first, or narrow first rather, by grade level and subject area. And then along the left side, you can even make more specific filters, such as looking for content that's editable. So students have the legal licensed rights to download and edit that content, turn it into a green screen, or do a voiceover, those types of things. In the same idea, students, as they're finding this great content, also have the ability within Discovery Education to practice those organizational skills that are so important. And so by using the tool called My Content, which is cloud space within their Discovery Education account, students can begin to create content filters and programming folders, rather, where they can start having keeping things organized by topic or by specific project. We also have a tool called Quick List, which is kind of like putting a Post-it note on a resource so you can quickly revisit it. And students have access to that as well. Those are both tools that teachers and students can make use of. And then one more way to support students as they're doing research and searching for content on their own is through the use of citations. Now, we fully support teaching students how to correctly cite their content, but we also feel that in the day and age of lots and lots of content, it's best that the content is cited. So we do provide the citations for all of our content, and that's available right on the player page. So you click through to a resource. This is also where you can play the video, and then you'll see just down at the bottom, we provide the citations in the 3 major formats. So now, as we're thinking about developing those key cognitive strategies around researching again, but also communication and interpretation, we have a tool called Discovery Education Studio. And Studio is as simple as a digital poster for our elementary and middle school students, or as complex as a mini website page. There's no coding needed, although again, we fully support coding, but with this tool, it really makes it accessible for students to present information in any way they decide. They can easily import information from Discovery Education, or they can upload their own content. You see we have an example of a career profile here, a pre-made studio board that a teacher might access, but I wanted to go live and show you how you can access Studio as well. So from your Discovery Education page, and if you haven't logged in yet this school year, there is a brand new update. It's our Discovery Education Experience. And across the top is your navigation buttons, and there's a purple button for Studio. And that's how you can go in to create a studio board. But you also have the option to access some pre-made studio boards. And you can do that when you're searching for content. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my search bar and not type anything in. I'm just going to do a blank search. That way I can show you all the studio boards I have access to. So because I work for Discovery, they give me access to everything. Most of you have Discovery Education Experience, so I'm going to make that choice here, but many of you won't need to do that. And then I have grade level options and then media types. So I'm going to go ahead and select the board option. Hopefully my internet's going to keep up with me here. So I'm going to go ahead and select boards, and then on the left-hand side, I'm going to select Studio Board. Many of you may have made use of a tool called Board Builder in the past, and this is the upgraded, more modern looking version of Board Builder. So we are moving into studio boards. And these studio boards, as I mentioned, can be accessed and copied by teachers. I'm going to go ahead and make my selection and experience. Is the internet slow earlier?
Yeah, it's horrible today.
Okay. Just making sure it wasn't me.
No. You're on the center.
I'm an exhibitor. So I'm going to select a subject area. Here we go. And I'll pick this board, ecology. This will make me go slower today. It'll slow down my talking. I have to wait for the internet. Yes. All right. So studio boards, as you can imagine here, rather than having to go to the Xerox machine, there's an easy copy button, so I'll show you that. And that allows you to make your own version, save it to your account under that purple studio button, and you can fully edit the board. So if you find a board that just looks beautiful and you like the colors they use, but it's not at all the content, you can make a copy of that and completely revamp it. Or if you find a board that is of the right topic, but just needs a few tweaks to make it work with your students, you can easily do that as well. All right, I'm going to switch my internet to the presenter. And what's the password? Never happens in a lesson, right? When you're teaching, you have it all planned out, all your slides, and then, all right. This is painful. There we go. Okay. So the copy button is up here in the upper right-hand corner. If I select that, that means that I'm going to make a version of this board. And here, this board is intended to be used by teachers, so you'll see that they have included some directions, included easily a video from Discovery. It'll play right there. And then a space for students to add their reflections. So you could really use this as kind of a digital worksheet if you wanted to, or even a portfolio. I know that's an important piece of many of your benchmarks, is having students document their work. They could go in here and very easily add artifacts. They could upload files or take photos of things. And there's multiple pages of the boards as well. So in addition to kind of using that to capture their own learning and share back what they've learned or build their own profile, we also have a number of, as you saw, some of those pre-made boards, and a number of them are on different STEM careers. So as students are doing research and looking into the different careers they may be interested in, we have a number of those pre-created for students to explore. All right, and when we think about also developing these cognitive strategies and helping them share what they're learning, another way to do so is through some of our instructional strategies, our SOS instructional strategies. In particular, the paper slide video, which is a very low-tech way for students to share their learning. Has anyone done paper slide before? A couple of you, okay, great. So the idea is pretty simple. You take a few sheets of paper. Each piece of paper is similar to a slide in a presentation like this. So students may get one or more pieces of paper, and with markers they use a few words and mostly images or icons to convey their information. Then they bring it up and have someone hold the camera and do kind of a one-take video, and all you see is the piece of paper as the paper slide. And so students are able to narrate over that. So we've seen a lot of instances where students will create a paper slide video on a topic and then upload it to their studio board as part of a portfolio. So you can kind of merge that high-tech, low-tech. Paper slide is also a great way for teams or even full classes of students to share information or do kind of a telephone style story or relive information as well. All right, so in addition, we know that students need to build background knowledge and key content knowledge, and they can do that, as I mentioned, through our searching of our content. And they don't have to just rely, teachers and students don't have to just rely on a keyword search and then narrowing through a few thousand results. Discovery's gone a long way in really making it simple for teachers and students to access content that they're looking for quickly. So we offer it organized by subject area, so you can kind of narrow in as if you were looking through the index or a glossary in a book. You can narrow through content that way. We also feature some of the most popular content and recently added content in our trending section. And then finally, teachers can access content by curriculum standards. So you can go specifically here in the state of Pennsylvania and narrow through and find resources that can specifically support those standards. In addition, we have gone well beyond the video you probably know and love us for. In the United Streaming Days 15 years ago, we were primarily video. We've really gone beyond that. Some of my favorite content in Discovery these days is the Stuff You Should Know podcast, as well as the Stuff You Missed in History Class podcast. We also have some really strong math explanations and explorations that provide some interactive opportunities as well. So I'm just going to jump over, hopefully back to the service quickly. We'll see if it participates, and show you those kind of different ways to explore that content. So again, making use of this top row of navigation buttons, you'll see there's the blue trending button. And this is where we're featuring timely and relevant content, as well as some of Discovery Education's favorite content. We also see that we highlight the content that is newest to Discovery Education, as well as some popular channels, and I'll talk about channels in just a moment. And in addition to using those buttons across the top, you can also use this global navigation off to the right. It kind of looks like a waffle, and you'll see those same navigation buttons. So I wouldn't have to worry about going back to the home page to then move on to the next thing, like looking by subject area. So again, searching by subject or narrowing in by subject is really if Discovery was a book and you were looking through the index and the glossary to kind of narrow in on topics. As you select different resources, you can narrow in by topic and then also by grade level. And your selections will change. And it'll allow you to narrow it again specifically to both video and non-video content, as well as highlight those newer resources that we've added. And then finally, the last one I mentioned was searching by standard. So that's the other blue button. So I can select my state. And then in English, language arts, and math for Common Core standards, you do often have access to a model lesson in addition to a selection of resources. So if you're looking to target a specific standard with your students, or if you're new to a grade level or subject area, this is a great way to find resources to support your class. And then the other new resource from Discovery is our addition of channels. So we have our navigation across the top, and then you may have noticed that the bottom part of my page looks different than your page. And that's because this is my DE, and you're looking at your own my DE. And so these are all of these blocks are individual channels that I have added. And a channel is a curated collection of content from Discovery Education. So when you select, let's see, the President's Day channel, you're going to find resources that Discovery has selected and curated. So this is not all of the content. So if you're looking for some historic content or things you've used in the past, it may or may not come through here, but it should still be available via search. So in the idea of saving teachers time and focusing you on the best of the content, you can see these channels. You can add, or rather subscribe to channels to add them to your MyDE page, and then you can also unsubscribe to them. So I don't need President's Day content probably again until next year, so I can unsubscribe to that. When I go back to my homepage, it'll be removed. One note, when you're adding or subscribing to channels, it does get added to the bottom, but you can easily click and drag to rearrange your channels. If you have access to our tech books or STEM Connect or any of our other additional products, those will come in as individual channels as well. And so if I search for something like careers, and I want to see what channels are available, I can do that keyword search, and then I can select that media type. So just like I wanted to find all the videos around careers, I can look at all the channels around careers. I can see there's one specifically for career and workplace skills. as well as computer programming, math connections, corporate education partnerships. We also have some specifically highlighting states like Texas and California, and we learned that those collections have specific features around the different STEM careers that are happening in that state. So that's why some of those are coming through. We wondered about that yesterday and dug in and figured that out. So as I look at the career and workplace channel, I can see here I can narrow in again by different careers. And then I can find things like the polar bear expedition we do with Polar Bears International, where we talk with the scientists and the zoologists who are studying polar bears. We also go beyond the court with careers, so we're in partnership with the NBA and NFL. We have a number of sports and STEM careers that take place on and off the field. And then we also have a number of career profiles in a variety of different STEM categories as well. All right, so those are a couple of navigation ways to find some of that great content, and your students do have access, again, through their own accounts to be able to search and find content. The channels feature will be rolling out to students, but it's not currently live. So students can save content to their My Content features in their quick list, but they're not going to see that channel option until probably back to school of next year as we continue to modify it. All right, in addition to researching on their own, teachers can support students through a variety of instructional strategies. And we collect these as part of our SOS instructional strategies. And I really think about this as the recipe box for my instruction. These are things that I can rinse and reuse and try in different ways. And a good recipe, just like a good strategy, should be shared. So these are great resources to share with fellow educators. And so a couple of them that specifically support career and college readiness. This SOS strategy called 321 Pyramid. Students are using a graphic organizer to help organize their information, including facts, why it's important, and then a quick 6-word summary. So it's a really concise template that students can use without having to dive in quickly to deep research. It can be a simple way for them to collect information and then spend some time comparing and contrasting notes with a partner. If you want to find that full strategy, we have it written up as well as on a single one-pager. You can search 321 Pyramid in Discovery Education and you'll find the full write-up on that. Another strategy that works great when we're working in collaborative groups is SOS Placement. So here, 4 students would get space to record their thoughts and ideas, and then they're going to synthesize their ideas into their group summary in the middle. So this works great across grade levels, and whether students are drawing pictures or writing full sentences, they're able to come together and then summarize their information as a group. So that was SOS Placemat. And then another one, which is I know been very popular at conferences, is sketchnoting. And so whether you do this digitally on iPads or touchscreens or traditionally in paper, pencil, and markers, sketchnoting is a great way for students to enhance their comprehension and get a little bit more creative as they're taking notes and researching. So all of these instructional strategies, we have a collection of over 100 of them, are available by selecting the green Instructional Strategies button. And you'll see on this page, in addition to videos for teachers, we've also just released this month 6 videos that are student-facing. So these videos are intended to be used directly with your students to give them an idea of how to make use of this strategy. So from the grid, I can select instructional strategies. Here's that page, so I can see the 100 strategies have been organized into 12 different categories or skill sets here. Then there's those student learning videos. We also have a number of graphic organizers that pair with those strategies. And if you're new to the strategies, I really encourage you to scroll down and get started first with the most popular strategies. We don't provide 100 of them and ever thinking that a teacher would need to access or want to access 100 of them, but just enough to have enough breadth across the kindergarten through 12th grade space. So start off with some of those favorites, or go down to the top 10 list. You'll see that we have a top 10 career and college readiness skills. So the 10 best strategies that can help your students in forming these skills. And I think these student-facing videos are really great, so I'm going to go ahead and show you one of those.
You use social media all the time. Now let's use it for learning. No, really. You're going to summarize what you learn in the form of a tweet. That's right, the Twitter kind. So what goes into a tweet? First, you'll need to pick a handle. That's your @sign. You can choose your name, or you can make it about what you were learning. If the subject is volcanoes, you might be @magmaman. Or if the topic is geometry, you might be @cuteangel. If it is someone from history or a character from a book, you could tweet from their perspective too. Next, compose the tweet from your chosen point of view about something you know or learned. Remember, tweets are short, but don't worry about counting the exact number of characters. Just keep it brief. Finally, you'll want to add a few hashtags. Hashtags can add additional thoughts, or they can help categorize your ideas. Here's an example. At Frankenstein's monster might tweet, "They say I'm the monster, but what about the society that made me?" #humanity, #YOLO. Summarizing what you learn as tweets helps you communicate big ideas or details in just a few words. Adding handles and hashtags challenges your brain to consider points of view and categories of information.
So this is a really fun and engaging way to have your students think about summarizing their writing and being very concise in writing. I know that some of the benchmarks around your PA standards include writing a resume or doing mock interviews, so students being really concise with their information. And so this can be a fun way to kind of scaffold up to that. And I think anything around social media, bringing that into the classroom is always an engaging way to capture your students' attention. So those are our SOS instructional videos. I mentioned we also have those top 10 lists, so we make it accessible for you. You don't have to filter through 100 different strategies to find one that you might like. All right, now let's shift over to some of the knowledge and skills. And this is where we're going to spend the bulk of our session time. And you did get a handout, or if you didn't, I can come around with one, that is highlighting a number of the different partnerships we have with a variety of government and nonprofit and corporate partners that provide additional content to you and to our students as well. So if you're looking for access to these directly, you'll see that there is a website on each of these where you can find the teacher resources. We do have them built into Discovery as well and provide some additional resources for them. So there's a lot on this list, so I'm going to highlight a few of them, and then we're going to be able to have some time to go hands-on and find a program or two that you're interested in. You'll see as we go through, many of these provide career profiles, job descriptions, live videos, or video interviews of modern careers. So this is why we're really excited to share these as part of the college and career session. So the first one is agexplorer.com. And if you were to search Ag Explorer within Discovery, you'd also get access to these resources. And here, we're partnering to provide a variety of additional resources around agricultural education. Growing up in the state of Wisconsin and still being a resident there, it's a very vital part of that state. I know it's also very important here in Pennsylvania. And so while our curriculum may not always be the most modern in modern agricultural practices, programs like this one really help facilitate and support teachers as they're keeping our students engaged and interested in agriculture. So here you can see you'll find access to things like virtual field trips. And while these have already happened, you can view them on demand with your students. We often take students into a variety of different locations, not just the tundra and the polar bears. We also do trips to farms and work specifically at some larger corporations as well. You'll see you can also access career profiles, and then this resource also has a Career Finder Digital Interactive. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. So this is Ag Explorer. So again, if I search Ag Explorer within Discovery, And then I'm going to look for the resource type of professional learning. And it didn't show up, of course. Let's try the video. Okay. I'm telling lies today on that one. We're going to go right to agexplorer.com. So whether you're logged into Discovery or not, you can access this one. So you'll see you have educator resources at the top, and then also the career finder. So this is an interactive. Students can go through individually or in small groups. And it's 13 questions long and allows them to really kind of explore based on what they're interested in, based on what kind of education they're hoping to have or planning to have. So again, as you're thinking back on those benchmark standards for Pennsylvania and students needing to have a way to explore different careers, this may be an option for some of your students. So that was agexplorer.com. The next one is, as a former middle school teacher, my students would have been all about this because it's a partnership with EA Sports and Madden, one of the most popular video games that has ever existed, I think my husband said, so I'll take his word for it. But here we've partnered to provide a behind-the-scenes look at football by the numbers, so the math and science and STEM behind football. We have another virtual field trip here, and also have some STEM and STEAM lesson plans that teachers can make use of. So you can access this one at footballbythenumbers.discoveryeducation.com. So it really helps you explore the data behind football and the video games as well. All right, and then I wanted to highlight a few more partnerships that have virtual field trips as well as some of our STEM career challenges that provide specific resources around college and career readiness. This first one is a great elementary school program. It's called Cha-Ching, Money Smart Kids. And in this partnership with the Jackson Charitable Foundation, we're providing financial literacy resources to elementary school students. Again, I feel like this is a space where our curriculum often has a gap and teachers are expected to kind of just pull something together to meet those standards or help prepare students for the real world and starting thinking about being money smart. So there's a number of resources here you can see really engaging modern cartoons that are short and concise and paired with classroom as well as family activities. So these are chachingusa.org. And then one for our upper grades is Econ Essentials, and this helps students understand economics and how it applies to their own life. Econ is a big topic, and so this makes it a really approachable way for educators of any subject area to bring this topic into their classroom. And we also provide some really great video profiles here, how LG could change the fossil fuel industry, why the US needs a new generation of farmers, and owning a restaurant under the Cuban embargo. So talking about some real life issues and ways that students can use economics to understand the world and help plan for their future. So that was econessentialsinschool.com. And then one other is our Conic Foundation with Discovery Education created this Manufacture Your Future. And here's where you can find video overviews of a variety of different careers in the manufacturing world. So everything from engineering and analysts to managers, and you can see different profile videos on these. So this one is manufactureyourfuture.com. And again, we have a virtual field trip that you can watch on demand. And then you can also access some of these virtual learning experiences. Where we take students to a variety of different factories and industries across the country and share different ways that the different careers that are involved in those. And then one of the most recent virtual field trips we offered was in partnership with the NBA. This was earlier this month. And we partnered with the NBA on a project called NBA Storytellers. So we worked to profile videographers and journalists analysts, as well as players of the NBA as they told their story, both through social media and traditional media forms, and then also gave background on that career. So this is another really engaging topic that goes beyond the court. It doesn't focus just on the high-profile players, but really talks about a variety of different career opportunities around the NBA and specifically here the All-Star Game. All right, so I'm going to give you some time to explore some of these different career opportunities and resources that are provided either on the handout, or if you're within Discovery Education, you can do that search for career like I did and find some of those channels of resources. So you can go to the search bar and search careers. And then I narrowed by channels. This is where you can find those career and workplace skills as well as the STEM careers channel. And I did want to show you how to save those resources. I mentioned the My Content and the Quick List feature earlier as a way that teachers and students can save content, but let's do a quick, let me show you that very quickly. So when I find a video that I'm interested in, if it's something I'm going to use the next day, I can add it to my Quick List. So you'll see this plus sign button in the upper right hand corner. And when I do that, I get a pop-up saying it's been added to my Quick List. I can retrieve it from my Quick List by selecting the numbered list in the upper right hand corner, and that item will be right at the top. You can click and drag to rearrange these, so this can be a great way if you teach different sessions or different class periods. You can organize your content and then just go here and quickly play the content. And then again, students have access to this resource as well. And then if you want to formally file it away or organize it, so you can use it later, you can add it to My Content. And this will ask you to put it into a folder, and you can set up that folder system. And then you can retrieve it from the purple My Content button. So this video is a segment from that EA Sports partnership that I mentioned, profiling and gameplay design. And I access that through the STEM careers page. So I wanted to give you some time to kind of explore on your own and save some things. And then if there are any questions you had, if there's specific content you were hoping to see today, I'll definitely have time to address that as well. So I'll give you about 5 minutes to explore, and Patty and myself will be around if you have any specific questions, and then we'll come back together to wrap things up. Did everyone get a flyer?
Anybody have any questions? Yeah. You want to so there's a form that needs to be filled out on this URL, and then somebody from our team gets in touch with somebody from your team to put that down. So all students have access. It just has to be sent. Yeah. So what's the holdup? So did they already fill out the form? So it's a question of the person who needs to do it. Suffolk County, Pennsylvania. Yeah. Yes, I did, yeah. Once that comes. So maybe just ask them to basically goes in some kind of information. This is our choice of the right person. Google, contact them on schools, whatever, contacts them. Anybody else? Questions? You guys are in on our session, right? Okay. Oh, you're sending me away with my question? My question about questions?
So yeah, customers who are interested, just you can call video that has a 100-minute video in here.
Right.
And then like, I know when you're in contact with my folks, I'll post the fastest way, so you can kind of help with that all.
Right.
You might be able to a direct link, but you don't need discovery entry. You just go to like begreenfree.com and search the you literally yes, you can make those little things in Canvas that kind of like cluster things together. So I mean you could do that. If they're always the Canvas fastest, then just go check it. And then what I would say is what you usually do is in the middle of your lecture. Because these take you out to the book you're being versus if it's from Discovery Ed, this I do have pulled up there is so it's a resource, but it's not right? So the entire program, even when you go into the professional center, like Evolution Center, and you click on education partners, it's just a little series of links that takes you out. So it's the same thing. No. Correct. Yep.
Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns?
And were there any kind of questions or things you were hoping to see from today's session, or even just a general question about discovery? We don't want you to leave with any questions, so we're happy to spend a minute or two answering those. Yeah. Oh, yes, I'll put that up again. You can sign it on a short link. We'll email it to you. All right, you guys are making it easy today. I'll go ahead and put that link up one more time. If you came in late and didn't sign up, by filling out this link quickly, you'll have an opportunity to win one of our fabulous prizes in today's session. And then that'll also unlock the resources at the end of the week. So here is at bit.ly/DEPEAT20. So we are going to draw a winner for some swag.
In just a second, one time.
The last thing I wanted to leave you with is another update from Discovery around our community. So the Discovery Education community has been around for about 15 years, and I think I just lost the internet again too. We had a lot of tap dancing today. So the community has been around for about 15 years. We provide both virtual and in-person opportunities to connect with other educators from across North America and around the globe. And we just created a new Discovery Educator Network, or DEN channel. So looking back at those main navigation buttons, when you select the green Educator Network button, this is where you'll find opportunities to learn from and alongside other educators. We're highlighting some of the community's favorite content. Some of the most recently added resources from the community are actually our instructional strategies, are a result of our community members a few years ago saying, hey, that was a great strategy you shared. Do you have a collection of those anywhere? So we formalized them. They became very, very popular, and that's kind of what has spun off to create the instructional strategies resources. On this page, you'll also be able to access our Denspired ideas. These are short 2 to 3 minute video overviews from other educators sharing a quick idea or way they use or love discovery education. And then you can also access some of our full-length professional development, so for some PD on demand, whether you're watching it by yourself or getting some educators together to learn alongside of you. There's a great session from an educator in Atlanta called Get Googly. And so if you're using Google Classroom with Discovery Education, Jennifer Hall out of Atlanta Public Schools is a great resource, and we've captured her doing a 1-hour session, and that's available here for you on demand. There's also some focus on literacy and differentiated instruction and a variety of other topics. And since this just launched this month, we'll be continuing to add to these resources as well. So again, that was the green Educator Network button. All right, Ms. Patty?
I need a number between 1 and 22?
1 and 22, 13.
13 it is. Now I have to count. James Ravello, are you still here? Yay, James, come on up.
Select from the Magic Prize Bag. And that's all I have for you today, so I'll let you go a couple of minutes early or hang around if you had any additional questions or wanted to see some specific things from Discovery. Otherwise, feel free to stop down at our booth. There's ladies down there at 1329, and they can answer some specific questions around your accounts as well. So thank you so much for joining me, and feel free to reach out with any other questions.
Charger, cord, and also. All right, there you go. Earbuds have been the most popular choice.
That's right.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you. The most popular choice, like almost everything. Maybe I need to go. I know. I thought
I do too. My son already confiscated one of the fidget cubes.
How'd that feel?
Yeah, a little like, it's a liquid means like exercise.
And then we can build it more normalized with it. I have Insider response. So hopefully people come. We have it.
So we do own that and everything.
Yes.
Yes, we do offer, you log in, there's a orange button, and then
From the back, like it's against the Sure. Thank you.
So primarily focused on the ad.
Sure.
But, with the license message, you can connect more directly with our team.
Okay.
We get that.
Just stop it.
Yeah. Let me give you my info.
Okay. I have a contact, but I haven't been able to get
Do you know who it is?
Jessica Rivera?
Yes.
In Pennsylvania.
But it's for, like, a learning solution.
Oh. Huh.
Interesting that it's not someone who like contact.
Is there something better?
I mean, like, so Jessica works at the account level.
Yeah.
It seems like it would make sense for you all to have a contact, but we contact the contact
Yeah.
level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you my info.
Okay.
So you know, we ask the conference, and I can try and
Dig into that, find out what's going on.
That would be fantastic for you. Only one person.
How are you? I want to be you're good. Sit away. Have a good, relaxing moment. I'll sing to you some more Megan Trainor. If I were you, I'd want to be me too. Yeah, so I had to order half from Oldham, half from Newman. But I don't know what Angie's doing with regards to, because I was looking, when Angie showed it to me 2 weeks ago, it did have a place where you can go and order like tripods and projectors and things.
In the new one.
In the new one. And now it appears to be gone. Unless. No, I'm not going anywhere. You're fine.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tired. I'm sure you guys are even more exhausted.
It happens. It's okay. No, I'm from eastern Pennsylvania. I lived in a town called Lakeville, and there's about a half an hour east of Scranton.
Oh, I grew up in Park Summit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's actually on the northern shore of Walthall.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, I'm getting even smaller then, since I live in New Branson.
There you go.
So.
I live on 8 Oak Street now.
I know. It's funny, like, you know, northeastern Pennsylvania, once you know someone's from there, you're like, okay, well, I can tell them where I'm
Now I can get a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great area.
It is.
Have a great day.
You too.